Now that you've seen a lot of what can be built and automated inside of ProcessKit, now let's see how ProcessKit can fit into your larger operation. Now let me guess, you probably have a bunch of forms on your website, also a payment processing tool, maybe a team chat tool like Slack, maybe a calendar or appointment scheduling tool like Calendly or any others. And maybe you have other specialized tools that help run your operation. Am I painting an accurate picture here? Well, ProcessKit works best when it's at the center of all of that. Think of ProcessKit like it's your central source of truth for your operation, because it's both the place where you've documented your standard operating procedures, and it's the place where you're tracking progress on all of the individual projects that need to be run according to those processes. But in order for your projects and tasks inside ProcessKit to stay in sync with your larger operation, you need ProcessKit to talk to your other tools, and you need your other tools to talk to ProcessKit. Zapier, as I'm sure you already know, has become the most popular tool for integrating all the different tools in your operation and getting them to talk to one another. And so that's why ProcessKit has an enormously capable two-way Zapier integration available for you to use. So let's get your Zapier integrations all set up, shall we? Now, following this lesson, we've got a few Zapier recipes for you to follow step by step on how to set up Zaps that connect to your ProcessKit account. But here in this lesson, I've just got a couple of quick strategies for you to think about as you're starting to set up Zapier. First, I want to tell you about the 3 key connection points when you're using Zapier to integrate your operation. Then I'll show you how to access ProcessKit's integration on Zapier, and then how to test your Zapier integrations and get help and troubleshoot those Zapier integrations with ProcessKit as fast as possible. All right, first let me tell you about the 3 key connection points when you're using Zapier to integrate your operation. Well, we'll start with the 2 most common types of connections, inbound connections and outbound connections. An inbound connection is where some other tool acts as the trigger, which sends information into ProcessKit, and then that initiates an action inside of ProcessKit. The most common example of this would be when a form on your website gets submitted by someone. That information comes into ProcessKit and automatically creates a new project in ProcessKit. An outbound connection is where ProcessKit is the trigger, and that initiates some action in some other tool. So a common example of this would be when a task is marked as complete in ProcessKit, that can trigger a notification somewhere else, say in Slack. But there's one more type of connection that you need to be aware of, and that is the update connection. So this is when you have a project that already exists inside of ProcessKit. It already has some tasks, and it's making some progress. But then there's an external event. And so you need Zapier to come find this existing project and make some updates to it. So a common example of this would be a client onboarding project is already underway, and then your client schedules their kickoff call. And so now you need to go find that onboarding project and update its dates based on when the kickoff call was scheduled. And then that would enable your other tasks to be automatically adjusted, in relation to when that kickoff call happened. So in the Zapier recipes that are included in this course, I'm going to show you step by step how to create Zaps that use each of these different types of connections with ProcessKit. Okay, now let me show you how to access ProcessKit on Zapier and how to connect your ProcessKit account to your Zapier account. Now this also assumes that you have already created your Zapier account. If you haven't, you can go to zapier.com and sign up for one of their plans. I believe they still have a free plan that you could use. Now in ProcessKit, you'll want to go over here to this menu and click Integrations. And here you'll see our Zapier integration, and you can click this button. That will give you access to the ProcessKit integration on Zapier. You'll click Accept Invite and build a Zap. Then once you start creating a new Zap, you'll be able to find ProcessKit. And whichever version that you see here, you'll want to select the most recent version number. As of this recording, this is the one that we're seeing now. Now I'm not going to create a complete Zap now. You can follow our Zapier recipes for that. But just to get this started, I'm going to select a new project is created as the trigger. And then here is when you will need to connect your ProcessKit account. You'll probably only need to do this once, but once you do, then ProcessKit will remain available for you to use in all of your future Zaps. So let's sign into ProcessKit. And it's going to ask you for a ProcessKit API key. So let me just move this over for now. I'm going to go over to my ProcessKit account, and in that same integrations page, you can find your API key here. I'll click copy to copy it to my clipboard, or you can click Command C or Control C. And then let's bring that pop-up window over again, and we'll paste that API key in here. Click Yes, Continue. And if we go back into Zapier, now we are all connected, and now we can continue with accessing our ProcessKit account here in Zapier, and we can continue to build out a Zapier integration. Now, following this video, you can go straight into our collection of Zapier recipes and follow a few of those to do things like creating a new project in ProcessKit when someone submits a form on your website. And we have another Zapier recipe for how to update a task once a kickoff call has been scheduled. And we have a Zapier recipe for how to send a notification into a Slack channel when a task has been completed in ProcessKit. So you can follow those step-by-step tutorials in our Zapier recipes. But first, let me tell you about a simple process for how to test and troubleshoot and then get help with your Zapier integration with ProcessKit. Setting up Zapier integrations, it's inherently complicated work, but it's well worth it because once you have it up and running, it really works like magic. And it's totally normal and common to run into snags when you're setting up Zapier with ProcessKit. And so I want to give you a couple of tips so that you can resolve those issues as fast as possible. The first tip is to regenerate your test data and retest all of the steps. I can't tell you how many times just regenerating the test data has resolved my issues with Zapier. So always start with fresh test data. Go back to the first step in your Zap, the trigger, and regenerate that test data. For example, if the trigger was a booking on a calendar, don't use the same booking from your previous test. Go and actually create a new calendar booking and then pull that booking into Zapier as your fresh new test data. Then also go into ProcessKit and just delete any previous projects that were created during your previous tests. You want to start with a fresh slate and so that you can avoid any duplication. Then once you've done that, go through each step one by one and use Zapier's function to retest, and then see if you still run into the same error. And then if you still run into the error, before you reach out to me and my team for customer support, which we should do in just a minute, it's helpful if you can record a video of your setup, because we don't have direct access to your Zapier account. So it's really helpful if we could see everything that you're seeing in terms of how you've set it up, your configurations, and then how you've generated the error. So it's really helpful if you can take a quick screencast video. I really like Loom for this. You could use whatever other screencasting tool you have. And just take a video showing your test data and how you've set up each step and the settings, and then how you've generated the same error and what you're seeing. Then send us a link to that video in your customer support request so that we could actually see what you're seeing. And then from there, we will work with you to get this all straightened out and resolved quickly. Sometimes we'll reply with a video for you to watch that we've created just for you so that you can follow our instructions on how to resolve the issue. And then in some cases, it might help for us to schedule a quick call, within the next business day to troubleshoot this issue with you one-on-one, and we can share our screens. We're happy to do this with ProcessKit users. Just ask. Okay, from here, you can move on to those Zapier recipes that we have for you. And once you've finished those, here's what's next. Now, in the running example for this course, we've been working out how you onboard new clients to your service. But what about all of the ongoing work that you do for those clients after they're on board? Well, ProcessKit provides a way to organize your list of clients, store key client information, and associate clients with all the projects that you do for them. And that enables more advanced automations based on your client's attributes and more. So we're going to cover all of that in the next lesson.